It's better. Okay, everybody, let's quickly go through. So we were talking about development, and what we were supposed to look at today was the measures of development. So this is these that we said we have the different measures of development, and we put the five. The countries, the ways that countries use to measure their development to see are we developing or not. Isn't we saw that development just means the progress that a country makes in improving the quality of life of its own people and the independence of its own people. So don't let me down. You have to keep going back to this. Rome wasn't built in a day. You won't become all this in one day, but just try to remember important things. We saw that development is the progress. We are developing. It means you are improving. So when you are improving, it means you are making steps. You are progressing. So development is steps. We are not saying the government is already there. No, but we are saying the progress it makes in improving the quality of life and the independence of its people. That is development. So you must know the definition. You must know the definition. And you must know here the ways, the measures of development, ways of measuring development. We said here are the ways. We're going to be going through them real quick. The ways of measuring development. One, you have GDP. Okay? GDP. Let's talk about it. Ways of measuring development. Okay? We are continuing. So you can say this is 12 June. Okay, it's already mid-month. 12 June 2026. And we're continuing with ways of measuring development. Ways of measuring development. Number one, GDP. Gross domestic product. How much have we improved the quality of life of people? If we want to measure how much, we're going to look at the GDP. We're going to look at the GDP. That's one way. What is the GDP? GDP is the total value of goods and services produced in a country each year. The total value of goods and services that are produced in a country each year. This is the GDP. Can you write this? Please, please, please. Please write this down. You need to have these things down. Okay, you're going to need it. You are going to need it. GDP is the total value of goods and services. How much does the country produce each year? And when we're talking about how much a country produces each year, we look at the goods it produces and we look at the services that it provides. It's part of production. The services, tourism, all those things. We look at the services that it produces each year. Together, the total value of that is the GDP. Okay? Now, there is also GDP per capita. GDP per capita. Okay, this is GDP per capita. It's the second thing. There is also GDP per capita. This is, or this tells us, the average income per person. GDP per capita tells us the average income each person may get. The average income per person. How do you find it? GDP per capita, this one which we are talking about, this second one, you say GDP. We know what GDP is. GDP per capita is average income per person, or it tells us the average income per person. How do you get it? You say GDP, which is the total goods, the total value of everything the country produces in a year, goods and services the country produces per year. If you take that total value and divide by the population of that country, you have GDP per capita. Okay? You have GDP per capita. Are we together? And this we can use to look at how developed a country is. We can use this to look at the development of a country. Now, what you must know is that it's not perfect. What you must know is that GDP is not perfect. So I want you to say GDP is not perfect. It is not a perfect reflection. It has limitations. Okay? It has limitations. You can say, let me say, GDP is not a perfect representation of development. If you want to understand the development of a country, you can't just look at GDP, the total value of how much it produces. No! What if a country has a high GDP, but then the wealth is not shared nicely? It has people who are very, very rich and some people that are very, very poor. So that means it's not a good reflection of the development of that country. It's not developed, that country. It has some people that have a very low quality of life. So, exactly. Say GDP is not a perfect. Say it has limitations. Let's write fast. It has limitations. Limitation number one of GDP is that it hides inequality. Limitation number one of GDP is that it hides inequality. What should you write? Two countries, here's an example. Two countries may have the same GDP per capita, which means average income per person. Two countries may have the same GDP per capita, but you can say country A having few rich people. So it has a few people that are very rich, so rich and having a lot of money. So it has a few people that are so rich and many poor people. Is this a developed country? No. Country A is not developed. What if you have country B? That will be having wealth shared more equally. You see, this is a more developed country. It doesn't have one person being a serious whatever, having so much money, and the other one not having money. No. People have all the people have a decent lifestyle. So that means this is a developed country. Why is this country developed? Because wealth is shared. Wealth is shared more equally. Okay? So you can say GDP alone cannot show the inequality. Okay? So if you look at GDP, if you are using only GDP to check development, you would think these two countries are both developed. They have the same development because they have high GDP. But another one has inequality. Yes, it is producing a lot of wealth, but it's not shared equally. The rich don't give. Let me not say they don't give. It's not shared equally. Okay? It's not shared equally. But you can have a country where everybody is wealthy. People are relatively wealthy. Wealth is shared together. Everyone is learned, is a little bit learned. Everyone is having a house. Everyone can drive. Everyone goes on holiday. Everyone does this. That's better now. Let's go to GDP. So that country is more developed now. Limitation 2. So limitation number 1 of GDP is it hides inequality. Limitation number 2 of GDP is it doesn't show spending. GDP does not show spending habits. You can have two countries that are generating the same amount of money. What about if one is rebuilding? Maybe an earthquake has happened. So all this money is being used. So the quality of life is not being improved here because it's dealing with a natural disaster. Yes. So you write here, a country could a country rebuilding after a disaster may have a high GDP, but this does not mean the quality. This does not mean the quality of life is improved. Are we together? Let's move on. Limitation 3. GDP ignores health and education. It ignores health and education. So it doesn't show spending. Okay. It ignores health and education. It hides inequality. Those are the limitations. 3 limitations. GDP only measures economic outputs. It does not measure health, literacy, happiness, life expectancy. GDP does not measure this. Oh, what a limitation. These countries look like they are both developed, but one has a very good health system. People are a very high literacy rate. happiness, no wars, very high life expectancy. And another one has wars. People are not happy. Okay, tribal wars. The health system is not good. Very low literacy rate. It is not developed. Although both countries have a very good economic output, but one has more than just that. It has other things as well, which GDP would not be showing. So GDP here will let us down. Let's look at method number 2. Okay, we said method number 1 is GDP. Method 1 of measuring development. Now let's skip 2 lines or 3 lines or whatever. Put method number 2 of measuring development and say GNP and say gross national product. Gross domestic product. Gross national product. GNP instead of GDP. What is this one now? What is the GNP, sir? What is this about? This measures the income earned by a country people. By a country's people and businesses. It measures the income that has been earned by all the people in a country. Now, GNP per capita is equal to GNP divided by the total population. You get GNP per capita, which is now, okay, this is the total divided by the number of population. Then you can have the income earned by each individual in a country. Okay? Or by a business. Are we together? Income earned by an individual or business. That's the GNP per capita. So you can say countries have different populations. So GNP per capita is important to measure the income per individual. Should also have this GNP per capita. Here you can say example. Want you to know that India has a higher total GNP. Does it mean it's more successful than UK? Really? Yes. But UK has a higher GNP per capita than India. So you can say Using this metric, UK is more developed. The people in the UK, they earn more money than people in India on average. Are we together? If we are using GNP. Let's go to another one. Okay? PPP. What does it mean? Purchasing power parity. This is the third way to check the development of a country. Come on now. You should know these ways. When you are checking development, use these. These are the things that you use. Purchasing power parity. Gives fair comparisons as it adjusts income according to the living costs of a country. According to the living costs of a country. We can't just say people in UK on average they earn more. Because guess what? $10 in UK will buy you a burger and chips. But in India, it will buy you a burger and chips about 7 times. For example. So when we are comparing income between countries, we also look at how expensive is that country. Because maybe the income looks small, but things are cheaper there. You cannot talk about London where people pay a lot of money for rent, a lot of money for meat, a lot of money for milk, a lot of money for a burger, a lot of money for everything. And you say, these people earn more, but they are paying more. Life is more expensive there. For example, of all the countries I've lived in, which are more than 3, Botswana is cheap when you look at buying food, paying rent. So purchasing power parity, it compares countries, but as it's doing this, it adjusts income. Okay, it adjusts income according to the living cost of a country. Are we together? Living costs. Okay? Example. $1 buys more in Bangladesh and buys, okay, you can say than in USA. Having $1 in USA, that's not a lot of money at all. But in a different country, you can go to work and come back. Are we together? But you can't Uber yourself with $1 in USA. Are we together, people? Purchasing power parity is when income is adjusted according to the living costs of a country. You'll be taught how to do this later, but you must just know the different things we look at when we are comparing development. 4 is Human Development Index, HDI, Human Development Index. Okay? This was created by the UN in 1990. Okay? This is just a fun fact. Okay? This is just a fun fact. It's not that you have to know this. This is just a fun fact. To say the HDI is something that was created by the UN in 1990. Are we together? The HDI uses 4 indicators to measure development. To check for development. Okay? So we can use this HDI to check the development of a country. It has 4 indicators for you to use. Number 1, indicator 1. So you can say, let's put it here to say the 4 indicators used by Human Development Index. Here you say indicator, and you say here what it measures. So it has 4 indicators. Number 1 is life expectancy. Okay? It wants to see how developed a country is. It looks at how long do people in this country live on average. Nobody wants to be in a country where people die young. To say, hey, you want to stay in Colombia, or you want to stay in this country. I'm not attacking any country. I'm just saying, in this country, the life expectancy is 16 years, or the life expectancy is 25 years, or 26 years, or 29 years, or whatever the life expectancy. So nobody wants to go there because you're not expected to live long. So life expectancy, it measures the health of a country. Their health system measures the health system in a country. Are we together? It measures the health system of a country. The health in a country. Are people healthy in this country? It tells us if it's developed or not. Because if a developed country surely should make sure its people are healthy, surely it should make sure its people can live as long as they can, then mean years of schooling. So it looks at life expectancy, then it looks at the average years of schooling. Yes, you can raise your hand. Yes, what is the question? Oh, what lesson is this? This is geography. And it's supposed to be finished. Okay, give me 2 more minutes, then we can change to computer science. The second one, so definitely I need to also be using the podcast for geo, guys. Mean years of schooling. This measures education of adults. It measures, education. The adults in the country, or let's say education level of adults in the country. Are the people in this country educated or not? On average, how long do people in this country stay in school for? Just 5 years. Just 10 years. Just 12 years. They don't make it to high school in this country. A lot of people don't make it to high school. The mean years of schooling in this country are 12. Wow. That's not good. It means a lot of adults in that country are not literate. That's not a developed country. Mean years of schooling. Okay? GNI per capita. GNI per capita. This, or it's like PPP. It uses PPP to do this, where it is checking um, the income, gross national income. Okay? The income of a country. And it uses parity. It uses purchasing power parity. The purchasing power of currency is different in different countries. Okay? So here it will be checking the income of that country. And then it also checks the expected years of schooling. For future education. Maybe things will be getting better. Maybe things are drastically improving. So it looks at the expected years, future education. Okay, I'm going to explain more from here in our next lesson to try and push so we finish this development. Look at more and more and more. We'll look at the economic sectors and a lot of the things that you need to know about them. And we'll answer a lot of skills. We'll talk about what we call economies of scale a little bit and stuff. And we'll answer a lot of questions. So it's not going to be hard. But we'll meet more. Um, this is where we end today for Geo. We have to change to computer science. We're a little bit late. So geography, we'll continue again. We'll meet again on Sunday. Okay? Be ready. We'll continue. I'll send you a few questions to answer based on this.